Modern air combat has a multi-million-dollar problem. A single, state-of-the-art fighter jet, a marvel of engineering that can cost over $100 million, might fire a missile worth $1 million just to shoot down a drone that costs less than a small car. This isn't just a tactical exchange, it's an economic war of attrition, and it's one the West is fundamentally losing. The skies over Ukraine have become a brutal proving ground for this new reality, where swarms of cheap, expendable drones can overwhelm billion-dollar air defense networks. While most nations are scrambling for an even more expensive, high-tech solution, one country has embraced a brilliantly simple answer that can cost as little as $20,000 a shot. Sweden has been quietly turning its Gripen fighter into the ultimate drone killer. In doing so, it isn't just upgrading a jet, it's exposing a fatal flaw in the foundation of Western air power. This is the story of how a different way of thinking, forged in the crucible of the Cold War, is creating one of the most practical and lethal solutions to one of the biggest threats in 21st century warfare. To understand why the Gripen is so uniquely suited to become a drone-killing monster, you can't just look at the aircraft, you have to look at the nation that built it. For decades, Sweden existed in a precarious position, sharing a border with the Soviet Union, but remaining fiercely independent. This geopolitical reality forged a unique philosophy deep in its military DNA, a doctrine of ruthless efficiency, resilience, and total defense. Sweden knew it could never match a superpower's military might. It had to be smarter, more adaptable, and more cost-effective. This thinking produced ingenious solutions born from necessity. While NATO built massive, hardened air bases that were obvious first-strike targets, Sweden designed its entire air force to operate from the wilderness. Its previous generation fighter, the Viggen, was famous for its ability to take off and land on sections of public highways, be refueled and rearmed by a small team in under 10 minutes, and then disappear back into the sky. This concept, known as the BAS 90 system, created a dispersed, almost invisible air force that was impossible to decapitate with a single, overwhelming attack. The JAS 39 Gripen is the modern heir to this philosophy. It's a lightweight, single-engine fighter designed from day one to be affordable, easy to maintain, and capable of operating from the same austere, 800-meter road strips as its predecessors. Where larger, more complex jets like the F-35 require pristine runways and massive logistical footprints, the Gripen is built for the rugged north, able to land, rearm, and take off again in minutes from a frozen road or a forest clearing. This isn't just some old Cold War trick either. In late 2025, the Swedish government announced a major investment of over $158 million specifically to enhance the Gripen's road-based support and dispersed operations capabilities. It was a clear-eyed recognition that in an era of satellite surveillance and precision long-range missiles, giant, centralized air bases are liabilities. Resilience is the new stealth. This entire philosophy of efficiency, dispersal, and rapid turnaround is the perfect foundation for tackling a threat defined by mass and low cost, like drone swarms. While other nations build more expensive hammers, Sweden has perfected a multi-tool. The first layer, overwhelming with APKWS. The first part of Sweden's drone-killing solution is brilliantly simple. Take a common, unguided rocket and make it smart. Lessons from the war in Ukraine drove home the unsustainable cost of using high-end air-to-air missiles against cheap drones. As one Saab executive bluntly put it, "Right now we are using very expensive weapons to kill very cheap drones." This realization sent Saab's engineers looking for an off-the-shelf, cost-effective answer. They found it in the American-made Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, or APKWS. At its core, the APKWS is a standard 70mm Hydra rocket, a workhorse munition that has been around for decades. The genius is in the guidance kit that screws into the middle of the rocket body. This kit adds a small, laser-seeking sensor to the rocket's nose, instantly transforming a dumbfire weapon into a precision-guided killer. The economics are staggering. A modern air-to-air missile like an AIM-120 AMRAAM can cost around $1 million per shot. An AIM-9X Sidewinder is closer to $450,000. A single APKWS round costs somewhere between $22,000 and $35,000. Suddenly, the cost-exchange ratio in a drone engagement flips on its head. A fighter jet can now afford to fire multiple rounds to ensure a kill on a low-cost drone without bankrupting the national treasury. Saab is now actively exploring integrating APKWS onto both its older Gripen CD models and the brand-new Gripen E. But the true potential isn't just in the low cost per round, it's in the volume of fire. The APKWS is designed to be fired from multi-launch pods. While a Gripen might only carry a few large missiles, Saab is studying how it could carry pods packed with these guided rockets. As one marketing officer stated, "If you can have 4 or 10 on each hardpoint, then you can kill a lot more drones." This concept isn't just theoretical. The APKWS is already battle-proven in the counter-drone role, used successfully to down hostile drones and integrated onto Ukraine's F-16s to hunt Russian UAVs. For the Gripen, this would be a relatively straightforward integration. The jet would use its targeting pod to paint the drone with a laser, and the rocket would simply fly to the designated spot. This makes APKWS the perfect first layer of defense, a low-cost, high-volume weapon that allows the Gripen to become a flying shotgun, capable of wiping out entire sections of a drone swarm without a second thought about the cost. The second layer, the Nimbrix drone killer missile. If the APKWS is the Gripen's shotgun, then the Nimbrix is its scalpel. While the American rocket provides a cost-effective solution for mass engagement, Saab recognized the need for a purpose-built weapon designed specifically to kill small, agile drones. Starting in 2024, the company began a self-funded initiative called Project Nimbrix, and the result is a game-changing mini-missile. The Nimbrix is a marvel of miniaturization and lethality. At just 1 meter long and weighing only around 3 kilograms, it is a tiny weapon. But packed inside is a sophisticated fire-and-forget active infrared seeker, which allows the missile to lock onto a drone's heat signature and hunt it down autonomously. This is critical, as it means the Gripen pilot can launch the missile and immediately turn their attention to the next target, a vital capability when facing a swarm. Instead of a traditional warhead that relies on a direct hit, the Nimbrix uses a blast fragmentation warhead designed to detonate in close proximity to the target, creating a cloud of lethal shrapnel. This airburst capability is devastatingly effective against small, flimsy drones, as it doesn't require a direct impact to shred control surfaces, propellers, or engine components to ensure a kill. Its effective range of up to 5 kilometers is perfectly suited for the close-in fight against drones that may have slipped past longer-range defenses. Crucially, Nimbrix was designed from the ground up to be cost-effective, making it an affordable tool for dealing with individual threats or picking off high-value drones within a swarm. With first deliveries planned for 2026, the system is moving from concept to reality at lightning speed. The combination of APKWS and Nimbrix creates a multi-layered anti-drone arsenal that is unmatched. The Gripen can use the APKWS to thin out a swarm from a distance, and then use the more precise fire-and-forget Nimbrix to pick off any leakers or more maneuverable targets. This two-pronged approach, blending overwhelming volume with surgical precision, transforms the Gripen from a simple multi-role fighter into a dedicated drone hunting machine. Weapons are only as good as the systems that guide them. A fighter jet can be loaded with the cheapest, most effective rockets in the world, but if it can't find and track the target, those weapons are useless. This is where the other half of the Gripen's equation comes into play, its brain. The jet is a flying sensor and data fusion hub, designed for the era of networked warfare. At the heart of this capability is its Raven ES-05 Active Electronically Scanned Array, or AESA, radar. Unlike older mechanically scanned radars, An AESA radar can scan vast volumes of airspace, track dozens of targets simultaneously, and is highly resistant to enemy jamming. This is crucial for detecting the small, slow, low-flying radar signature of a typical attack drone, a task that older radars struggle with. But the Gripen doesn't just rely on its own radar. Its advanced electronic warfare suite and data links allow it to fuse information from a vast array of other sources. For example, Sweden's Saab AB airborne early warning and control aircraft, a flying command post with a radar that can see targets over 550 kilometers away, can detect a drone swarm and instantly share that tracking data with a flight of Gripens. The Gripen pilots wouldn't even need to turn their own radars on, allowing them to approach a target completely undetected before launching an attack. This network extends to the ground. Saab has also developed the LOC CUAS, a ground-based command and control system that uses its own radars and electro-optical sensors to detect and track drones. This system can provide targeting data directly to a Gripen in the air, essentially acting as an external set of eyes for the pilot and allowing for highly coordinated, layered defense. This complete ecosystem, powerful onboard sensors, a network of off-board platforms, and purpose-built weapons is what makes the Gripen so lethal. It's not just a jet with a rocket, it's a node in a distributed, intelligent, drone-killing web. The strategic implication: challenging the Western way of war. The Gripen's evolution into a master drone hunter is more than just a clever technical upgrade. It's a direct challenge to the dominant philosophy of Western air power. For the last 30 years, the West, led by the United States, has pursued a doctrine of overmatch at any price. The goal was to build aircraft so technologically superior, so overwhelmingly powerful, that no adversary could possibly compete. This gave us incredible machines like the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II, fifth-generation stealth fighters that are the undisputed kings of the sky. But this dominance came at a breathtaking cost. These jets are not only fantastically expensive to build, but also incredibly expensive to fly and maintain. And the weapons they carry are just as pricey. This doctrine created a force optimized for fighting a near-peer adversary in a high-tech war, but it left a critical vulnerability: an inability to fight efficiently against a low-tech, asymmetric threat. Sweden, a NATO member since 2024, is presenting a different path forward. By looking to arm the Gripen with APKWS and Nimbrix, Saab and the Swedish Air Force are proving that it's possible to counter a 21st-century threat without 21st-century costs. They are offering a model based on affordability, adaptability, and sustainability. A Gripen, with its relatively low operating cost and this new, cheap, and deep magazine of anti-drone weapons, can conduct persistent patrols and absorb the high sortie rates required for counter-drone operations in a way that an F-35 fleet simply cannot afford to. This capability is arriving at a critical moment. Ukraine has been desperately seeking a more capable and sustainable air force and has been exploring the acquisition of Gripen fighters. While no final deal has been signed, discussions have been ongoing, and Ukrainian pilots began evaluating the jet in 2023. Any initial transfer would likely involve older C/D models, the very airframes that Saab is looking to arm with APKWS. For a nation facing a daily barrage of Russian drones, a fighter that can shoot them down for a few tens of thousands of dollars a shot isn't just a force multiplier, it's a strategic game-changer that could finally give Kyiv a sustainable way to defend its skies. This shift in thinking is forcing air forces around the world to reconsider their priorities. Is the Swedish model the future? Can a smart, cost-effective 4.5-generation fighter be more valuable in modern conflicts than a high-end stealth jet? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is the West too invested in its expensive platforms to adapt? Or will we see more nations follow Sweden's lead? The battlefield of the 21st century is a place of stark contrasts, where multi-million-dollar jets face off against drones built with commercial parts. The lessons are being written in fire and steel every day. Economic unsustainability is a weapon in itself. Through a combination of national necessity and brilliant engineering, Sweden has forged a solution that perfectly meets this moment. The Gripen, born from a philosophy of resilience and efficiency, is now being armed with a layered arsenal of smart, affordable munitions. The mass firepower of the APKWS and the surgical precision of the Nimbrix could transform it into the world's first true drone-killing specialist, a platform that can counter the swarm without breaking the bank. This isn't merely an upgrade, it's a paradigm shift. It suggests that the future of air dominance may not be decided by who can build the most advanced and expensive stealth fighter, but by who can master the economics of attrition. Sweden has placed its bet not on technological silver bullets, but on smart, adaptable, and sustainable lethality. The only question is whether the rest of the world is ready to listen.